Hello, my name is Eric Olson, president of Helps nonprofit law firm. I've been assisting seniors now resolve debt issues for over 35 years. This short educational presentation is designed to educate seniors and persons that work with seniors about the basic financial rights of seniors, specifically how they can preserve their assets and income for their basic needs and how old debt can be dealt with. I have learned over the years that seniors receiving limited income often face the same problems. The solutions are relatively simple. This video will educate about these problems and how they can be resolved.
Well, I was completely devastated because someone that I trusted had filed bankruptcy on me, and I had signed for a loan, and they left me holding the debt, and I couldn't pay it. I didn't know if I'd go to jail or what would happen.
My husband had a massive stroke. He was in perfect health, and he had a massive stroke, and he died. And all our debtors were calling day after day after day, 13, 14, 15 calls a day. And I was having what I thought were seizures. They were just real bad panic attacks because I was grieving and trying to deal with the creditors at the same time. I was at my wit's end.
Half of seniors over 65 have income within 200% of the poverty level. 15% of seniors face the threat of hunger every day. The question is, how does poverty affect seniors?
My emotional state was very depressed. I did not have enough money to buy groceries for a month after bills were paid.
The food and the medicines go first. And you eat beans, lots of beans, until that price goes up to 95 cents a can. Then you look for something else that's a little less expensive. Yeah, the food goes, and then the medicines go, and sometimes the medicines first and then the food.
How can anyone help? The solutions to these problems for seniors and for persons working with seniors are often a mystery. Many problems can be solved using common sense. Sometimes we complicate a situation by overthinking the problem. Before we talk about the solutions, we need to understand that everyone has basic needs. Needs like food, shelter, warmth, medicine, and medical help. The seniors you've seen today and the seniors you will see all had sufficient income to take care of their basic needs. So what then was the problem? The median amount of debt held by households headed by someone 65 or older rose nearly 220% between 2000 and 2011, from $12,000 to $26,000. Seniors retire with more debt than ever before. How does this happen?
There's got to be a lot of people experiencing just horrible frustrations over losing their jobs and losing their pensions and having more outgo than they have income. Like in our case, we went from 6 figures a year to 0 to just our Social Security, and it was a blow that we didn't think we were ever going to be able to get out from underneath.
Sometimes debt results from the death of a loved one. Then there is the loss of the loved one's income. When seniors retire, income often goes down. Illness or medical problems often result in added debt. Because of the Great Recession of 2008, many seniors lost jobs or retired earlier than they planned. Many incurred debt. Many lost retirement investments. Many seniors have incurred debt helping family. Home values plunged, leaving many seniors with large mortgages and no equity. Sometimes life changes in the blink of an eye.
Well, my financial position before Helps was very good because I was working and everything, and I had money to pay the bills, and I didn't have any problem. I had a good credit rating and all that. And then I couldn't work anymore. And then once I couldn't work anymore, and I still had those bills to pay and stuff, it got to be a lot of stress and strain on you, because you owe money to people, and they want it. and you'd like to pay them, but you can't because you're not working anymore. And so, yeah, there's a little pressure. And I say you don't sleep at night very well. You nervous stomach in the daytime, and I'm sure it affects your health. I mean, it's stress, and so of course it would.
Probably the most important thing you will learn today is that Social Security is protected from collectors. It cannot be touched. Quote, none of the monies, Social Security benefits, paid or payable shall be subject to execution, levy, attachment, garnishment, or other legal process. Social Security Ruling 79-4. This is a federal law applicable in all 50 states. Social Security is protected from collectors and does not need to be used to pay old debt. In addition, pensions and retirement benefits are protected from garnishment under the Employment Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, commonly known as ERISA. The question then is, if the senior does not pay this old debt, what happens? That's right. Collectors call and harass, demand letters are sent. Life in this state can be miserable.
I developed high blood pressure and anxiety attacks.
And lost weight.
And I kind of compare it, I don't know if you've ever watched a boxing match, but they say that the more you beat on someone, the more you find them helpless, you know, to fight back. And that's where you just get to where it's miserable.
Yeah, you feel helpless.
Emotionally helpless.
Well, but they were calling me names. They were calling me a liar. They were telling me that they were friends of my children. I mean, they were using all kinds of ways to try to intimidate me, but the fact was I didn't have the money to pay the bill.
Our life was atrocious. I mean, the calls kept coming in. We were threatened by the cops were going to come and pick us up. It practically gave me a breakdown. I was harassed constantly. We had a telephone call here one day, and the man said he would keep calling back, that he had all the time, and he called 22 times in 15 minutes.
Fortunately, there is a federal law that protects persons from collector harassment. It is called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, a person can send a collector what is called a cease and desist letter. Here is a copy of a cease and desist letter. It can be sent by the senior himself. When the creditor receives this letter, collection contact must cease. The collector could still file a lawsuit, but remember that the Social Security and retirement income is protected. So what needs to be done? Sometimes it's as simple as contacting the attorney advising them that the income is Social Security. So in summary, remember, Social Security is protected. Pensions, VA, and other disability income are protected also. In addition, part-time work up to $217.50 net per week is protected from collectors. That's around $942.50 a month. That cannot be touched.
I think seniors feel they're at a disadvantage. I think seniors feel that they have no options. They're on fixed incomes, and even though they're on the fixed incomes, some still try to struggle to make payments. The creditors do not lower your interest rate. I've asked the three of mine to lower my interest rate, and all of them refused to. And one of them tripled it. And seniors think that they have no option but to keep trying to make the payments and sometimes go without food in order to do so.
Sometimes we face problems or look at problems like looking at an individual tree. Often it is important to look at the forest or the entire problem. Let me explain. Sometimes we have seen seniors deplete their 401k or independent retirement to pay old debt. The independent retirement income which was protected eventually is gone, often used just to pay interest, and the senior is still left owing the debt, now without the cushion of independent retirement resources and no ability to pay anymore. Some use limited retirement income to maintain a big mortgage payment for a house that has no equity until their retirement is gone. Even a large car payment can deplete valuable retirement income and resources. What then can be done to stop the depletion of limited resources set aside for retirement? This involves looking at the big picture. One factor that can be often overlooked is the impact from the death of a spouse.
My husband had a massive stroke. He was in perfect health, and he died.
Realistic planning for the future can be very important. Seniors may want their adult children to participate in some of these discussions. As a result of the Great Recession, home prices have often greatly gone down. If a senior is faced with a big mortgage on a house with no equity, what can they do? One option is to stop the mortgage payment and simply let the home go back.
I wasn't undone, but I was like desperate to find a way to move on, to move forward with my life financially, and with the housing market the way it is, there was no way I could get rid of my house, that I could sell it because it was underwater. And I couldn't believe it. It was just like a breath of fresh air when I walked out of the office that day, thinking, "There's an answer. I can just let go of my house." It was like, wow.
It can often take 12 to 18 months and possibly even longer for a house to go back through foreclosure. Seniors can live in the home during that time without making payments, saving enough money to move. Participating in the Home Affordable Modification Program might be of assistance. There's no need to pay for this help. HUD-approved HAMP assistance is free. However, statistically, the success rate is very low. So what if the senior with a home with a big house payment has equity, meaning that it's worth more than what is owed? The home could be sold, preserving the equity for less expensive and reasonable housing. For some seniors, a reverse mortgage is a good solution. What a reverse mortgage does is pays off your mortgage, and you are allowed to keep in your home for your lifetime. The only thing you'll need to do is pay for your property taxes and maintenance of the home. Eventually, when you pass away, your family would need to pay for the balance owed on the reverse mortgage within 1 year. If the home isn't able to be sold or the money isn't able to be paid, your family will not owe the money. But it allows you to stay in your home without having to face a mortgage payment. So what about the senior that has a car payment they can't afford? The answer is simple. If there's no equity and the car can't be sold, just let it go back. Cheaper transportation is often readily available. Also, the senior might examine whether a car is absolutely necessary. Well, then what happens when the car isn't paid, or the house payment isn't made, or the other old debts aren't paid? Let's review. Remember, rule number 1, Social Security, pensions, and most retirement money is protected from creditors by law. What then is the key for seniors on limited income to maintain financial independence? Rule number 2, avoid spending protected retirement income, IRA, 401k, other protected assets, to pay old debt, including unaffordable mortgages. Let that protected income help supplement current and future necessary living expenses. Many years ago, Benjamin Franklin referred to 2 certainties in life. That was death and taxes. In almost every instance, seniors on limited income can avoid having to pay old tax debt. Often this happens when a Form 1099-C is sent by a creditor to the IRS. Form 982 can be submitted, which indicates that the taxpayer is insolvent, therefore there is no tax liability. In rare circumstances, the IRS may garnish up to 15% of a person's Social Security income. In virtually all of the cases we have seen in our office, clients have been able to obtain uncollectible status with the IRS, and garnishment is avoided or stopped. The Tax Advocate Service is an independent organization within the IRS. They can assist seniors on limited income obtain non-collectible status. More information can be found at www.taxpayeradvocate.irs.gov. Here's the phone number, 877-777-4778. Seniors can call the Taxpayer Advocate Services themselves to receive help in achieving uncollectible status. While it is nearly impossible to have student loan debt forgiven, Essentially, all low-income seniors will qualify for payments through the Department of Education's income-based repayment plan. In our experience, for all low-income seniors we have worked with, the monthly repayment amount is zero. Here's the website address, www.ed.gov. Bankruptcy is an option, but is often unnecessary. Why? Because the senior's income is protected anyway, and their assets are minimal. There's nothing the creditors can do. Money spent on many bankruptcies for seniors is wasted. One important thing that many people don't know is that it is possible through a Chapter 13 bankruptcy to strip or eliminate a second mortgage. This can happen if the home is worth less than the first mortgage, which is often the case in today's depressed real estate market. Often people can afford to pay a first mortgage and keep a home if they don't have to worry about a second mortgage. Forgiveness of debt is an age-old principle originating in the book of Deuteronomy in the Old Testament. Veterans often have benefits they are unaware of. One benefit that is often overlooked is Veterans Aid and Attendance Improved Pension Benefits, which can pay a family member other than a spouse around $2,000 per month to help care for the veteran, including a veteran's spouse. Not to be forgotten is subsidized housing, Section 8, and supplemental nutrition programs formerly known as food stamps. I hope this program has been helpful and you've learned something. We at HELPS are dedicated to educating seniors and those that work with seniors about their financial rights and help them preserve their financial independence. HELPS represents seniors in all 50 states to prevent collector harassment. Under federal law, when a person is represented by an attorney, collectors may no longer call or send letters. We send letters to collectors, and within 2 to 4 weeks the communication stops entirely. The thing we hear most often from our clients is that peace returned to their lives. We never turn any senior away that qualifies for our assistance. I am aware of no one else in the country that is doing what we do. Seniors that worked hard all their lives deserve to live lives free from collector harassment for debt they cannot pay, and know that their income is protected and available to pay for their needs. More information is available at our website, helpsishere.org.